This is Bishop Samuel Blakes, and you're listening to Real Talk with Mary J.
Happy Merry Monday, everyone. Thank you for stopping by. This is Real Talk with Mary J. Real Talk with Mary J is a social outlet for a positive outcome, and I am so excited that you stopped by to share with us today. Listen, I am so happy to have sharing with you all my special guest that is here on today. All month long, June, the entire month of June is dedicated to strong men. Yes, we're talking about strong men need strength too. Of course they do. We know that our men are very strong in physicality as well as mentality, but we know that, men need strength too. They go through just like we women do. They have issues just like we do. And they are sometimes perplexed and stressed to the max, right? And they have to continue to put on a strong face, to put on a strong arm. But listen, we want our men to know that we love them, we support them, we're praying for them, and we're lifting them up all the way through the process, because guess what? I'm going to say it again. Strong men need strength too. So I am so excited to have my special guest sharing with me. He was a part of the Power Voice system with Les Brown. Yes, he was a Power Voice speaker with Les Brown, a part of the Power Voice team. He has done some tremendous things, have some wonderful accolades all throughout the course of his life. Listen, his name is Coach B. We call him Coach B. His name is Art Berlanga, and he is an educator. He is also a TED Talk speaker. Yes, he is. He is a coach, a mindset performance coach as well, a 2-time author. I want you all to welcome on the show with me on today, my special guest sharing with me, strong man, Coach Art Berlanga. Hi, Coach B. How are you? Your volume is off. You muted.
Quite the intro there, Mary J. Thank you for that. That was awesome.
Oh, thank you for gracing our presence on today. We're so excited to have you sharing with us from this episode. We're talking about strong men need strength too. So thank you, Art. Thank you for coming on and being a part of this episode. So I know that I introduced you in my own way, but I want you to take it a little further. Tell the people all of who you are, what you do, and where you're from.
Yes, as Mary J said so elegantly, my name is Art Berlanga. They call me Coach B, and I'm an educator, a football coach, I TEDx speaker, I 2-time best-selling co-author, and both books were anthologies with men. It was all the authors on the book were all men, 20 authors. So I was grateful and privileged to be part of those projects. And I'm a man who's married to my beautiful bride. Her name is Jessica. I have 2 beautiful children. My son just turned 5 in January. My daughter just turned 2 this past Memorial Day weekend. So I am extremely fortunate, grateful, and I make a living through relationships. So I'm in the business of relationships through education and through coaching. I'm a mental performance coach as well, where I help athletes overcome mental barriers within their athletic journey to help them become the very best version of themselves on the football field, in the basketball court, in the gym, on the tennis courts, whatever that looks like. CrossFit athletes as well I work with. So I dabble in a lot of different areas, but hey, I'm a man who's been given certain gifts and talents, and I'm trying to maximize every single one of them. So when I go to my grave, I've exhausted all resources. I've exhausted all talents and gifts, because I will not go to the grave regretting anything that has been given to me. To whom much is given, to whom much is required, as the good book says.
Absolutely, absolutely, Coach B. Listen, and you are doing some amazing things, tremendous. You're making impact, and I too believe in live full, die empty. Right? Don't take anything with you to the grave. So you're actually doing just that, and you have such a beautiful wife and family, as you said, and I know you are making an impact. So we're talking about strong men need strength too. Absolutely. Don't you think? Let's go. Let's take the people on a little bit, have a little glimpse of your journey of why you do what you do and what has led you to where you are today.
Yeah, so I grew up in a very blue collar community. My parents were very hardworking, very blue collar type of people, and earned everything they've ever been given in this life. My father, ex-military guy, served in the U.S. Navy, was first generation Mexican American. My grandparents migrated from Mexico, and then my mom's from the island of Guam. So we have a very humble beginnings where my parents worked very hard. My dad worked in the fields of Central California, where we grow all our produce, our fruits and vegetables that we feed all of America, comes from my area where I'm from in the Salinas Valley. I live in Central California, and I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of the upbringing and the sacrifices and the life that my grandparents made for us, who were made for my parents, and then my parents made this life for me. So who am I to disrespect or be ungrateful for their journey and all the backbreaking work they provided for my generation, my brothers and sisters, right? And I'm just here to take that to the next level. So when my children grow up, they're going to understand that this is our history of our family. This is what we've been through. I will instill that. My wife and I will have a team aspect when it comes to raising our children, understanding where they came from, so that they could be even more grateful for what they do have, and also put them in those situations back again to let them know, hey, this is what your grandpa did, this is your great grandfather did. I'm gonna make you work in the fields for a weekend or two, so that way you understand and truly understand where our family came from, so they can appreciate that, right? So I'm just very proud of that upbringing, just because I kind of have this underdog mentality to where I have a few chips on my shoulder, right? I've been doubted throughout my athletic career. I'm big on sports. I was a 3-sport athlete in high school, 2-sport athlete in college. I did football, track and field, and also in high school I played basketball on top of those 2 sports. So I had this desire to start coaching Mary J, right? And I had a coach instill in me. He saw a vision within my life, and I was just 17 years old, and I couldn't see it at the time. And then when I turned 24, 25, I began my coaching journey, and it forever changed my life, forever impacted my life. And I'm going on 16 seasons, going into this year in 2022 of coaching football and impacting hundreds, if not thousands, of young people, teenagers, and young adults' lives at the collegiate and high school level with the game of football. And that's just so beautiful about sports, is it brings people from all walks of life, all economic backgrounds, and it brings us together. We can, beyond football. For me, it's beyond football, Mary J. I'm here to instill life lessons in them, to use the game to teach life, and under any circumstances, your environment, where you come from, your upbringing does not define who you are. You define who you are.
That's right. That is amazing. Absolutely. We define who we are, not our background, not our upbringing, not our circumstances, not even the things that will come up against us. But you know what, Art, that I found is that those very things that come up against us, that try to push us backward, is the thing that propels us forward. Do you understand what I'm saying? A lot of times those things that we go through, for instance, because your work ethic, that you were taught and trained how to work hard as a young man, how to provide. You saw your parents do it. You saw how hard they worked and what they did to provide for their family, to give you the best valuable life that they could offer. And then you too having that same drive as a child, and then your coach seeing that there's something in you for football, and you take that and you drive that thing forward. And now you are an amazing football coach that are coaching young people. And I know you're planting seed, you're pouring in, you're doing everything, and you having them to maximize their full potential. So that is pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
Thank you.
That's amazing. So listen, Coach B, talk to us. Let us know the process. And what is some of the things that, I know we've all come from different experiences. can you tell us or identify one experience that you had to overcome that was a challenge for you and you had to overcome that experience and how you were able to do that?
You know, Mary J, I love this question because I had just experienced within the last probably 15 months or so, probably the most challenging, most emotional, defeated, yet very overcoming, joyful, grateful, and accomplished last 14 months, right? I was on the lows of lows and the highs of highs. I would like to start with how it all began was with I'm gonna get a little personal here, right? Because this is we're gonna real talk, right?
Real talk. This is real
Right.
talk. That's right.
So I had my 15-year-old nephew was living with my wife and I, and it'll be a year to this upcoming Father's Day. He committed suicide in my home the day after Father's Day with a gunshot wound, self-inflicted, and he did that in our very bathroom downstairs, and it forever changed our life. And we were all home at the time, and I experienced that type of trauma. I experienced PTSD from that. So any loud bangs, and then of course 4th of July was the very next month, and so all the fireworks going off, it just really triggered that night, right? That very dreadful, traumatic, devastating, heartbreaking night. And to overcome that with our family and to see such a young man at 15, just 15 years old, doing that, and how we never really saw it coming. You know, he really disguised it very, very well. And the more research I've done, of course, with education and coaching football, I'm around a lot of young people, right? I'm around a lot of teenagers, and I realized that the teenagers who have done this act, right, taking their own life, a lot of them were very similar to where they disguised it so well that people don't even know that they're going through what they're going through, or even having a suicide ideation, thoughts of suicide, and things of that nature, right? So that kind of took me in a whirlwind, if you want to say, and I had to overcome a lot of obstacles with that, and just being reminded daily, you know, as I walk by his bedroom, because his bedroom was right next to our master bedroom, and just missing him, and then just learning how to grieve, learning how to mourn, and realize that there's no timeline. Everybody grieves and mourns differently, and there's no timeline when people go through these type of stages of mourning and grief.
Yes.
And I learned that, right? So my wife and I were just trying to get it through together, because we became a team. It brought us closer together, brought our family closer together, and I did use it now. I use it. I use it to share with my students and my athletes that this is what happened in my own life with my own nephew, and I'm just here to spread awareness of that and what that looks like. And if you're thinking about that, this is the consequences that the people who love you and people who love you the most, this is what happens after the fact. And this is what we go through, right? It's not just about the person. It's not about just the victim, but it has a ripple effect across everyone who's ever crossed paths that has ever loved you, right? So I was depressed for a bit. I experienced a lot of anxiety afterwards. I had an anxiety attack, Mary J, at work. During the middle of the day, I got done with homeroom, and I'm sitting in our office there with my colleagues, and I just felt something overwhelmingly take over. My chest was a lot of pressure. I felt like I was gonna have a heart attack, right? I felt I was gonna have a heart attack and die. I mean, those were the thoughts and the experiences and the emotions I was experiencing that day, where I had to be carried to the nurse's office, call the ambulance to come pick me up at school, which is, I've never been in an ambulance before. I've never been to the ER before. And these things happened within just months after my nephew, right? And I realized after seeing therapy and figuring out, you know, where's this anxiety coming from and these attacks coming from, I realized that I was really consumed with thinking about death a lot, Mary J, to be quite honest with you, in a very terrible way. Just things are out of my control, but just thinking about the worst case scenario to me, to my wife, to my family, to my children, and it just was really overwhelming. And I realized that was a stem of it all. So again, grief and mourning and mental just awareness and your health, I've experienced the lows of lows with that, right? Where I even experienced some suicide ideation, right? Thoughts of suicide, thoughts of hurting myself, just because of the overwhelming just stress it had in my life, right? And I overcame that though, right? I'm still dealing with it. I'm still learning how to cope with it. I've learned strategies and tools to, when those moments of stress do show up and reveal itself, and negative thoughts and self-doubt and fear, I have tools now that I go to that really help me overcome those moments, because it's about moments, right? Temporary moments that have permanent consequences, right? So
Yes.
I'm understanding that now, and I'm learned to manage it. Therefore, if it's manageable, it's beatable.
You know, Coach B, listen, your story right now is helping so many, many, many men, many men, hundreds and thousands of men all across the country that will hear this, those men that would share this, those ladies, women that would share this as well, to touch lives. And I'm going to be sharing it in every group that I am a part of as well. Let me tell you something. Your story impacted me. When I saw your clip, you posted a photo of yourself in the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and you were talking about your mental awareness as it relates to anxiety. And it touched my heart. It touched my heart in such a way because we don't see men doing that enough, right? We don't see enough strong men saying, hey, I'm a strong man, but I have a weak spot. This has hit me, has impacted my life and affect my family in such a way. I don't know what's going on right now, but I want you all to pray for me. And I know that I'm going to beat this thing, because even though you were lying there, I saw a soldier that was there. It was almost, paint the picture on a battlefield, if you will, on the front line. And I believe that a lot of us that are strong, particularly our strong men, we're on the front line. We're in the forefront, because strong men, what you have to do, you have to be there for your family. You have to provide for your family. You have to lead for your family, direct your family. And now you have to bear all of this at the same time. You have all these darts. You know, you have all these darts and all this ammunition that is being fired at you. And in the process, you have to carry this stuff while maintaining a foundation for your family. And I think a lot of times we miss it when it comes to our men, because we as women are so vulnerable. And of course, we rely on our men to be the provider, the protector, and the priest. But we need to get behind our men and support them and just encourage them and lift them up. And so when I saw you with that video, it reminded me of so many strong men that I know that a lot of time go unnoticed because they have to remain so strong all the time. Like, I can have a weak moment too at some time, you know? So that's why this is Real Talk, you know, Coach B, that's why we're having it. And I knew some men that deal with anxiety as well, that deal with depression as well, but are ashamed of it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want it to be exposed. They don't want people to know about it. So when I saw that, I started sending that out to everybody. Like, look at this. You see what I'm talking? This is something, that's where we glean from. You know, we pull from each other. You know, iron sharpens iron. And a lot of times we think it's just us by ourselves that is going through this, you know. Now, my baby brother, my youngest brother, I come from a family of 8. I have 6 strong men, 6 brothers, 6 brothers and 1 sister, and I'm the baby girl. And my baby brother lost his son due to murder. Back in 2017, he was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. And, you know, shots were fired, you know, everywhere. And he was in the line of that fire trying to get away and got hit and died on the scene. It was a very devastating moment for our entire family, because nothing like that has ever occurred in our family at all. And I remember being awakened by my mom letting me know that that had happened, and he was being taken to the hospital. And as I was headed there to the hospital, just to find out, when I got there and I had everybody looking for him, the nurses and everybody, the triage, they're trying to find him. They're calling, trying to find through emergency, like, where did he come in? Where is he now? To let me know. And then my mom, I get a call back from her saying, I'm so sorry. He's not there. He didn't make it. And I just felt my whole body get weakened. you know, like my breath got short. But here's the thing, my baby brother, being strong as he is, having to endure all of that, I don't know. I just don't know how he was able to do it. How he was able to function under all of that pressure, then have the funeral and take care of everything and still continue on. And like you said, everybody grieve in their own way, because he didn't show any signs of grief, even though, there's times that some people get isolated. Some people want to just be by themselves, don't want to talk. There's other that wants to be around people and talk a lot. But I was kind of concerned about it all because I know the impact, and that was his only son. And so we never see strong men show that vulnerable side, to show that hey, it's okay, to be weakened in this state. It's okay that I am human, it's okay to be a strong man and still yet have feelings, because a lot of times we don't think that. We always talk about women being emotional, right? Like as though men don't have any emotions at all. Like I don't know what we think about sometimes when it comes to men. Like I don't know, like you all don't have any emotions, all of that. So this strong man needs strength episode is so needed for our men, and for you to share that and to be transparent in such a way, I know that it's oh my God, it is helping men all across the globe. And then now to have this to come and interrupt the course of your life, unexpected, undetected, and now you have to deal with that, and now you're going through these episodes of anxiety, not understanding. Did you know when you started having these heart palpitations and going through that, did you think about like where that could possibly have come from, or did you find out over the course of retracting and going through some layers to get to the point of saying, okay, this is the target right here? How was that for you? Was that your first time ever experiencing that?
It was. I've never experienced anxiety like that before, especially an anxiety attack, to where I had to be hospitalized 2 days in a row. It happened 2 days in a row where I had to go to the ER twice. And looking back, I talked to a therapist, and I knew I was overwhelmed. I was doing too much at the time as well. I was doing coaching, teaching, my clientele, right, and just all the things, my speaking engagements that I was doing also at the same time. And I had all these goals and aspirations that I still was pursuing at the same time of all this other stuff that was going on in my personal life, right? And it just all caught up to me, right? And then the stress within just with my family and the in-law game, as we all understand that game, right? When we get married and we have issues with certain in-laws and things of that nature, and it all just began to overwhelm me and affect me in a very negative way. So it just took some time to figure out what it really was boiled down to as far as the root of all of it. But it definitely stems from just the amount of stress that I was putting on myself, for sure.
Yeah. I heard a pastor just recently speak about it on Instagram. I just ran across him having this conversation as it relates to all of the pressure, that providing for his family, being the pastor, taking care of a ministry, the cares of the people, having to just lay the foundation to protect his children, all of that. And he was saying that a lot of this just all of a sudden, just took a toll on him of understanding, like, am I doing this right? Do I even know what I'm doing? Am I effective? And understanding that all of these cares is just weighing so heavily on him. And he got to a place of suicidal. And a lot of times we don't even hear that sort of thing. We hear stories like, but for our pastors to deal with this, that's why I have such a tremendous amount of respect for our pastors that are carrying all of the burdens and the weight and to pour into people when we need pouring into ourselves. And I interchange that word "we" a lot because I am a pastor too. I have 6 brothers, so I watch the different highs and lows through life as well. I've experienced depression and anxiety. My daughter was heavy with that weight of anxiety on her as well, and she broke through that as well. And so it's a very personable thing, and it's so real, and I just don't think that we talk about it enough. I just don't think that we share enough of it, with people.
As you're speaking, Mary J, you remind me of 2 things I like to add to piggyback off what you just said, especially going back to the video that I posted when I was in the hospital, right, and sharing my anxiety attack and just what I was going through at that moment. I felt like I was going to die, and I was like negotiating with God and say, please don't have more work to do for you, Lord. If you get me through this, if you think I've done work for you now, just imagine what you can do for what I'll do for you when I get through this, right? So I began negotiating with our Creator, right? And I look back at it now, I kind of chuckle at it just because it's funny to me, right? That here I am negotiating with my Creator about my life and not to take it or not to necessarily take it, but I wasn't ready just yet, right? But how many people experience that though, right? Well, how many people go through have those type of thoughts with themselves? And that video, so many men reached out to me, Mary J. So many men privately messaged me or called me on the phone. Good. And they said, hey, Art, man, Coach, everything you just said in that video, I've been through the exact same thing. I've never told anybody. I've never even told my own wife. We got men out there, husbands, who never even spoke to or told their own wives about these anxiety attacks that they experience themselves, right? So I just want to be the light.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be vulnerable. Honestly, everything against me wanted not to do it because of the state I was in, because I was embarrassed at the same time. I was a bit shameful. And I know, I know I'm not the only one that's going through this. I know that. That's right. But why was to use it? I wanted to use it to help other people and to serve them. And with the suicide ideation part of it, right? You mentioned it with the pastor. And I tell you what, it's a very evil presence when that does show up, where I felt like I was hearing voices almost in a way to where like challenging me, that you're not going to do this. Come on, are you man enough? Are you going to really do what you say you're going to do or what you're thinking about doing? It's a very evil marriage. I kid you not, I've only experienced it once, but it's a very evil presence that almost like you can feel the presence of evil within the midst of you, right? And it's a very scary place to be, but also that's where my faith comes in, where I began to pray. I began to just speak affirmations and the word into my spirit, into my life that very moment, and say, get behind me, saying you will not control my thoughts. Therefore, I believe the Almighty God, and he will get me through this as he's done many other things throughout my entire life. For I belong to him. I do not belong to this world.
That's right. That's right. You know, I'm so glad you shared that, because a lot of, when it comes to men, I did an episode every year for the month of June. I dedicate my entire platform to men. I've been doing that for years. God put that on my heart. And like I said, I guess because I have 6 brothers, and I was like a little Tom girl coming up when I was a kid. I played sports, ran track, was the fastest girl in my district. And I don't know. I don't know, but understanding it all, I even created a page called Strong Black Men, because I was targeting my community and what I saw that went on in my community, that a lot of men just don't speak up and they don't speak out. Like you said, this happened, you were embarrassed about it, you were ashamed, because society has painted that picture like a man is not supposed to cry, he's not supposed to feel, he's not supposed to show his weaknesses. And all of that is a bunch of crap, men go through just like women do, but they just don't talk about it enough. They cover it up. And for a strong man to have a woman or a wife beside them and still not want to even share what they're really going through, because they feel that they have to protect their family or protect their wife, or not want her to worry, or not want her to feel that he can't handle this thing, I did an episode on Real Talk Mary J called Camouflage Man, Caveman, Strongman, all of that. And I broke down the different layers of it. Because when we come from the caveman perspective, that's the men that are strong, that provide for their family, that go out there and make it happen, but they come back in their homes and they remain in their caves, meaning up here, they keep all of that stuff caged in. They don't share it, they don't discuss it, and they go through these silent struggles within themselves. So, I'm calling you Art. I'm calling you Coach B. I go from name to name. But this is like so helpful that you are sharing your truth. And that's why I said a lot of times, you see, the things that will come up against us that will cause us to shut down. I am so glad that you are using it to propel further, to go further, because I really think that God uses those things that we go through in life to activate and ignite our purpose. I believe that he take us from one level to the next level to the next level. And had you not experienced that in such a way, like, will it be a forefront of your passion of what you're trying to convey right now to people, especially the young kids that you are coaching, and just being a part of their lives to let them know, that they can beat it, that they can overcome these obstacles, and let nothing keep them down, let nothing stand in their way. And you are evidence of that, of sharing that and being that. So I salute you today. I salute you, strong man, today, for doing all of what you do, sharing all of what you share. Because when you're making impact, that's when the enemy comes in 7 times stronger. When you're making an impact, that's when he would come in 7 times stronger. And you're just I'm gonna use your term, you're tackling that thing. You're making touchdowns, and you're doing it. You're doing it in a big way, Art. And so thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing your truth.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah. So, Art, as it relates to you going through these suicidal thoughts, and I'm so glad that you painted the picture to let us know how prevalent it is, how intense and how defining that these thoughts would challenge you. Come on, are you going to do this or not? As it's telling you, man up, man up and do this thing, get it over with. That's just so like the devil himself, and the devices that he would use to come up against us, as though that, in other words, bluffing you, taunting you, trying to tell you to do this thing. But to understand that you are a strong man within yourself, and you understood that these thoughts that you were having were not your own. And so you took authority over that and said, get behind me, that I'm not going to do. This is one of the conversations that I have with the enemy, because sometimes he tells me stupid stuff like that too in my head. And you know what I do? I've learned, and this is because at first it used to be like, oh my God, right? And then when I kind of got a hold of all of what was happening, I started thinking like, okay, what is it about me that that I have not tapped in yet? Why do you want me out of here so soon? Why you want me to give up? Why? Okay, what if I do it though, right? Like when he said, oh, you can't do that, or you're not good enough, or you don't have what it takes. But what if I do? What if I just try? That's how I start talking back. Like, what if I just try anyway? Okay, then if I'm not good enough, or I don't have it, or anything, well, why are you worried about whether or not if I do it or not? That's the kind of conversations that I have. Because it's like, if I was not making an impact, if I was not doing what I need to be doing, then you would not even be bothering me. So all of these little voices that we hear, all of this little side talk, is just a whole lot of BS to stop you from really getting to what you need to get to, you know? So share with the people as we're closing out, Art, what is something that you can, what words of advice or encouragement that you can give those who may be dealing with some issues, especially our men who are not talking about it, that do not want to speak up, don't want to share it? Will you give them some words of advice to help them get through and overcome as well?
So we talked a lot about our thoughts and how everything stems from our thought, because our thoughts affect our emotions affect our physiological response, our body's response to those emotions, and then it affects how we live our life, the results of the performance within our life, right? So we have to learn how to manage those thoughts. Those thoughts can be controlled, believe it or not. They can be controlled, they can be managed. So I've learned not to listen to myself when those moments arise. I learned to talk to myself when those moments arise. So again, I don't listen to myself, I talk to myself. And what do I say to myself when I am speaking to myself? I affirm who I am and who created me. That's how I do it. I am able. I am more than a conqueror, right? I'm undeniably talented. I'm divinely favored. I am that dude, right? I am that dude. And I say that over and over and over again. Because again, these are just moments. These are just moments. And once these moments pass, I'm back to me. I'm back to who I know I am, right? So once we learn how to get through those moments, because one thing about fear, self-doubt, and negative thoughts is that it's predictable, meaning we all know they're going to show up. It always shows up. It always shows up, and it always shows up on time. So the biggest moments of your life where you feel like you're getting a lot of pressure, or you're doing things extremely well, and you're doing maybe getting ready for a big job interview or a presentation or just any opportunity where you really care about this opportunity and doing extremely well. Well, guess what's going to show up on time? Your self-doubt, the fear, and the negative self-talk. That's always going to show up on time. So I learned not to listen to myself, but to talk to myself. So that would be a piece of advice I would give our men.
That's so good. Learn not to listen to yourself, but talk to you. That is so, so good.
And talk out loud. Speak.
Yes.
Hear your own voice. Speak it. Speak what you want, what you affirm, because you attract that.
That's really, really good, because a lot of times when we listen to ourselves, we only hear that self-doubt and negativity, right? And so when we're talking out loud, we're talking to ourselves words of affirmation, to esteem ourselves and to know that we can overcome as well. That is really, really good. Not to listen to yourself, but to talk to yourself. I love that. I love that. I really do, because you can really talk yourself up, out of things. That's why the word teaches us that life and death is in the power of the tongue. So just continue to speak life. That's really, really good information to share. So can you let the people know where they can follow you, how to get in touch with you, and especially as it relates to the speaking engagements, to have you on their platform and to have you to share with their young people as well?
Yeah, they can reach me at my website at artberlanga.com. That's artberlanga.com, artberlanga.com. I'm also on social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I'm on all the social media.
Are you on TikTok?
Yeah, I'm not as active on there, but I do have an account. I do post from time to time. But my students got me on that, Mary J. My students got me on that. So
that is great.
Like, Coach B, you need to have a TikTok and just post all your motivational stuff and all your speaking stuff you do to us in class. You need to post that on your TikTok. I'm like, I don't know. I'll think about it. So it took a few months or so, and then I finally gave in and I created a TikTok. So
that's awesome. I have a TikTok, and I'm not on there either. I don't do much on TikTok, but I'm going to go follow you on TikTok. All and right. I think that is so cool for your students to see that and to say all of your motivational and your talks and the teachings that you do. Go over there and post them on TikTok. That shows that you are being a mentor, that you are definitely a leader in sharing with them. So that's really good, because TikTok reaches the millennials for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Awesome. So you're on TikTok and on all social media sites. It's under, is it Art Berlanga or is it Coach B? What is it on there?
My social media?
Yes.
It is
on TikTok.
Yeah, it's Coach Berlanga on TikTok.
Coach Berlanga. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you all, this has been such an amazing show with Art, Coach B. Berlanga. He is a phenomenal speaker, as you all see, very transparent, a motivational speaker, as well as a 2-time best-selling author. Pardon me, also a mind performance coach, because all of the things that you've just shared with us, Coach, is just tremendous as it relates to, not listening to yourself, but talk to yourself. That is empowering right there. So to speak out loud, talk to yourself. When that negativity, those committees in your mind begin to talk to you, speak to you, speak back, talk out loud, he said, talk right back to them and let them know who you are. So thank you for coming on and sharing with us, Coach. You all can follow him on all of his social media sites. Also, if you would like to send him an email to reach out to book and go to his website as well. This is his email address, coachb@artberlanga.com, coachb@artberlanga.com. And also your website. I want to put it back up there for them to be able to get it. Here we are. Go to www.artberlanga.com and share with him. Get in touch with him. Thank you so much for coming on, strong man, because strong men need strength too. I have only one last question to ask you, Coach, and that is, did you have a happy Merry Monday today?
As long as Mary J is on my Monday, it's a happy Monday. I tell you that.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on and sharing with us. Happy Merry Monday, everybody.